What if adding 20 more years to your life didn't require a single pill, just a different plate? In a quiet clinic in Tokyo, one man kept seeing patients well past his 100th birthday. No strict diets, no expensive supplements, just a simple rhythm. Meals he loved, moments he cherished, and a joy for living that never faded. That man was Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara, Japan's oldest practicing physician. He lived to 105, and before he passed, he shared a secret. Not in a book, not in a lecture, but in the way he lived and what he ate every single day. And today we'll break that down step by step so you can begin right where you are. Because in America, the average lifespan is just 76. But in Okinawa, Japan, it's 84 and climbing. There, it's not unusual to find 100-year-olds still gardening, cooking, even dancing. So what's their secret? It's not found in a pharmacy or clinic. It's woven into their meals, their rituals, their rhythm. And one humble doctor lived it until his very last breath. In this video, we'll uncover the 5 principles he followed. Principles that can spark new energy, smoother digestion, and a sharper mind, especially after 60. Let's begin with something deceptively simple. Not what you eat, but how much. Mistake number 1, eating until you're full, and then a little more. Let's start with something so ordinary we rarely question it: how much we eat. In the West, we're raised to clean our plate, to finish strong, to see a full belly as a job well done. But in Okinawa, where people live well past 100 with energy to spare, they stop at 80%. Not stuffed, not starving, just enough. It's called Hara Hachi Bu. A simple phrase with a powerful message. Eat until you're 80% full, then stop. Why does that matter? Because every extra bite past fullness isn't just food, it's friction. Friction on your gut, your heart, your cells. That constant overload wears down your engine day after day until fatigue, inflammation, and sluggishness become the norm. Even the National Institute on Aging confirms it. Eating just a little less can mean a longer life, better metabolism, and less disease. Dr. Hinohara lived this truth. He didn't count calories, he counted clarity. Light meals, slow bites, and always leaving the table with just a little hunger and a lot of gratitude. Let me introduce you to Helen. She's 68, grew up in Ohio, and like many of us, she was taught that food shouldn't go to waste. So she always finished her plate, even when her body whispered, "That's enough." But over time, those extra bites came with a cost. Sluggish afternoons, poor sleep, and constant bloating. Then she discovered Hara Hachi Bu. She started pausing halfway through her meals, asking herself, "Am I still hungry or just eating out of habit?" It felt strange at first, but within days something shifted. Her digestion lightened, her afternoons got clearer, and for the first time in years, food began to feel joyful again. Try it tonight. Eat slower. Put down your fork between bites. And when you feel about 70% full, pause. Not to deprive yourself, but to honor your body's rhythm. Because longevity doesn't start with restriction, it starts with respect. And once you know how much to eat, it's time to explore the what. And the surprising source of protein that keeps Japan's elders strong long into their 90s. Mistake number 2, thinking protein only means meat. So now that you're eating just enough, let's talk about what goes on your plate. In the West, the word protein often brings one image to mind: a big slab of meat sizzling on the grill. But in Okinawa, where many live past 100, meat isn't the main event. In fact, the strongest elders there build their bodies, not with steak or chicken, but with beans, especially soybeans, tofu, miso, natto, edamame. These aren't just side dishes in Japan. They're daily staples, passed from generation to generation, soft, savory, and full of life. Dr. Hinohara ate tofu almost every day, not because it was trendy, but because it kept his arteries clean, his digestion smooth, and his energy steady, long past 90. Why does it work? Because soy isn't just protein, It's complete protein, packed with isoflavones to reduce inflammation, prebiotic fiber to feed your gut, and nutrients that protect your heart, bones, and brain. And no, eating soy won't mess up your hormones. That myth has been debunked. In fact, a major study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that regular soy eaters had lower cholesterol, stronger bones, and sharper minds as they aged. Let me introduce you to Frank, 73 retired truck driver from Arizona. For decades, he avoided soy, said it wasn't manly. Then one night, he stumbled on a documentary about Japanese centenarians, and something clicked. He wasn't ready to go vegetarian, but he was ready to feel better. So twice a week, he swapped out red meat for a stir-fry. Soft tofu, garlic, bok choy, a hint of ginger. Simple, light, satisfying. And 3 weeks later, his blood pressure dropped, his joint pain eased, and his naps gone. He had energy to make it through the day and even walk after dinner again. You don't have to give up the foods you love, but you can open the door to balance. Try adding lentils, black beans, or tofu just twice a week, not to replace, but to rebuild. Because protein doesn't just fill your plate, it builds your future. And speaking of building, there's one quiet tradition that Japanese elders rely on every single morning. It's not a pill, not a powder, but a warm, living food that rewires your gut from the inside out. Mistake number 3, ignoring the quiet power of fermented foods. So you've lightened your portions, you've reimagined your protein. Now let's unlock one of Japan's most overlooked longevity secrets. And it begins not with a vitamin, but with a bowl of something warm, ancient, and alive. Fermented foods. In the West, we tend to treat our gut like an afterthought until it protests. Then we turn to pills, probiotic capsules, fiber powders, enzyme blends. But in Okinawa, the pharmacy is already on the table. Dr. Hinohara began each morning the same way. Not with coffee, not with toast, but with a gentle cup of miso soup, a tradition so simple, yet so profound. It calmed his stomach, fed his microbiome, and prepared his body for the day ahead. Miso, natto, pickled vegetables, fermented seaweed. These aren't exotic foods in Japan. They're comfort, they're routine, they're medicine in a bowl. Why do they matter? Because real fermented foods are alive. They carry probiotics that rebuild your gut lining, enzymes that help you digest and absorb nutrients, and anti-inflammatory compounds that protect your brain, your joints, your immune system, all in one spoonful. Now meet Claire, 70, retired librarian from Michigan. For years, she struggled with bloating, irregular digestion, and that heavy, stuck feeling after meals. She tried everything: store-bought probiotics, fiber drinks, even cutting out entire food groups. Nothing worked until a friend handed her a jar of real, unpasteurized miso. She started sipping a warm broth every morning, just 1 cup. And by week 2, the bloating vanished, her appetite leveled out, and her afternoons became lighter, clearer, even joyful. It wasn't magic. It was microbes, living, thriving, balancing her from the inside out. You can start this too, not with a complete diet overhaul, just a spoon of miso in warm water, a few slices of naturally fermented pickles, maybe even a little natto, if you're brave. Because aging well isn't just about cutting things out. It's about adding back the things your body quietly craves. And while we're talking about foods that surprise the body, there's one more that often gets pushed aside in the West, labeled bad or fattening. But in Japan, it fuels the longest living elders every single day. Mistake number 4, fearing all carbs and tossing out nature's quietest healer. Let's face it, in the West, carbs have become the villain. We're told they spike blood sugar, make us gain weight, slow us down, and so we cut them, fear them, replace them with powders and protein bars. But in Okinawa, where elders walk into their 90s and beyond with clear minds and steady feet, there's one carb they eat every single day, and they credit it for their strength: Japanese purple sweet potatoes. Not the sugar-loaded ones you see smothered in marshmallows on Thanksgiving. These are humble, steamed, and vibrant. A food so powerful it makes up over 60% of the daily calories for Okinawan centenarians. Why? Because these aren't empty carbs. They're protective fuel, packed with anthocyanins, the same deep purple antioxidants that guard your blood vessels, rich in fiber to stabilize blood sugar, loaded with potassium and vitamin C for your heart, your immune system, your cells. And with a low glycemic index, they give energy without the crash. Dr. Hinohara often chose sweet potatoes over white rice. He called them gentle strength, food that soothed his body, not stressed it. Let me tell you about Paul, 69. He was pre-diabetic, tired all the time. He avoided carbs like the plague. No bread, no pasta, no potatoes. But his energy kept tanking, and the cravings, unstoppable. Then his dietitian suggested a shift. Just half a cup of steamed Japanese sweet potato at lunch. Nothing fancy, no sugar, no butter, just nature, clean and warm. And within 2 weeks, his afternoons felt smoother. His cravings, gone. And his blood sugar, the most stable it had been in months. He didn't just eat a carb, he fed his future. Here's the truth. You don't need to fear carbs. You need to choose the right ones. Ones that lift you, support you, fuel you for what matters most. Mobility, clarity, independence. So the next time you reach for lunch, think purple, think powerful, think sweet potatoes. Because as Dr. Hinohara showed us, it's not about restriction, it's about choosing with wisdom. And speaking of wisdom, there's one final principle he lived by. And it may be the most important one of all. It's not something you eat, it's something you feel. Let's finish with that. Mistake number 5, thinking health only lives on your plate. Food matters, but it's not everything. Dr. Hinohara didn't live to 105 by chasing fads or obsessing over food labels. He didn't live long because he restricted joy. He lived long because he wove joy into his rhythm every single day. He believed that how you live around your meals is just as powerful as what's on your fork. Each morning, he started not with urgency, but with a slow walk, a warm bowl of miso, a moment of reading, not a race, a ritual. He took the stairs, even in his 90s. He gave lectures, he wrote books, and above all, he smiled. Because to stay young, he said, you must keep having fun. Let me tell you about Marie, 71. She spent years trapped in nutrition rules. Low carb this, sugar-free that. She read every label, tracked every bite. But the more she chased healthy, the more exhausted she became. Then she read about Dr. Hinohara, and something inside her softened. She stopped chasing perfection. Instead, she began each morning with a 20-minute walk, just listening to birds. She ate slower. She planted herbs on her windowsill. She brewed tea in the afternoon, just to breathe. No dramatic diet, no strict plan, just a rhythm she could love. And slowly that rhythm began to reshape everything. Her energy, her peace, her sleep, her smile. Because true longevity isn't about adding more rules. It's about subtracting the rush, letting joy fill the space. So if there is one lesson to carry from Japan's oldest doctor, it's this. Don't just count calories, count quiet mornings. Don't just reduce sugar, increase laughter. Don't just fix your diet, nourish your spirit. Because health is more than a goal. It's a rhythm, a feeling, a way of moving through life with curiosity, purpose, and lightness. And you don't have to change everything today. You just have to start, one breath, one bite, one step in the direction of joy. Up next, let's bring it all together and show you how these small shifts can quietly, powerfully transform your years ahead. So let's bring it all home. You don't need a complicated diet. You don't need a perfect routine. You just need to begin with one quiet shift at a time. Here are the 5 gentle principles inspired by Japan's oldest doctor, Dr. Hinohara, who lived joyfully to 105. First, eat until you're 80% full. Not stuffed, not deprived, just balanced. Lightness in the belly brings clarity in the mind. Second, Add more plant proteins, tofu, lentils, edamame. Simple, gentle. Fuel that doesn't weigh you down, but lifts you up. Third, feed your gut with fermented foods. A spoon of miso, a slice of pickled radish. Living food that helps you feel more alive. Fourth, choose smart carbs. Japanese sweet potatoes. Humble, healing, and steady. They don't spike you, they sustain you. And finally, live in rhythm, not in rush. Walk in the morning, smile at your plate, laugh often, worry less. Health isn't just what you eat, it's how you live around it. Each of these steps supports your brain, your heart, your digestion, and your independence. And the best part? You don't need to do all 5 today. Just start with one. One breath between bites, one spoonful of miso, one walk under the morning sky. Which one speaks to you today? Share it in the comments. You never know. Your choice might spark someone else's journey too. And if you're ready to take one more step with us, stick around, because next we're exposing a popular health food that may secretly be aging your body faster than you think. Until then, steam a sweet potato, stir a little miso, smile during lunch, because this isn't just about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years. And if that's your goal, you're already on your way. See you in the next video. Love.